Welcome, everybody. I'm the Doc Bob Lee. You can kick off the shoes and relax your feet. We've got it going on for you. I'm your host, and you are watching Open. It's that live interactive program that brings the Bronx to New York City straight to your TV set. You can stay connected to us through social media at BronxNet TV. Now, leading things off, we're joined by the Director of Programs and Community Relations at Citizens Committee for New York City. And she's with us today to share some information on her company's grant matching process. She's here with us today. She does a lot. We hear a lot about her in our community. Please welcome to the show, Dr. Lessie Branch. Doctor, welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bob. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, you've done a lot in the community. Tell us about how you got involved in your grant sharing process.
So thank you for that question. And Citizens Committee for New York City got started in the mid-1970s, 1975 to be exact, when the city was in fiscal crisis. The federal government essentially told New York City to drop dead. And so there were some very interested and vibrant New Yorkers who decided to roll up their sleeves and call together their neighbors to pitch in financially, but also to just introduce that sweat equity into neighborhoods to keep New York City back then thriving, surviving, and moving forward. And from that time to now, Citizens Committee has been at the forefront of helping to convene, helping to fund, helping to connect resident-led community groups who are on the front lines doing what we do best, pooling our resources, helping our neighbors, looking out for one another, and making sure everybody, no one is left behind. And so, COVID hit us last year. It seems to be in Citizens Committee DNA that we are the go-to folks when it comes to crisis. And, we had to quickly pivot, and we made grants to resident-led community groups. And recently, as of last year, small neighborhood businesses to help keep them thriving and surviving when lots of other people were fleeing the city. And so we definitely want to support our resident-led community groups, our grassroots groups, and our small neighborhood businesses who are helping and leading to the revitalization, really, of New York City.
Well, people are going to be coming back seeking more of your work because people are coming back to the city. The reports are out there. What are some of the other programs that you're working on? You have the grants, and who are some of the other organizations that are reaching out to you?
So our All-In Neighborhood grant just launched this week. And on average, we grant $5,000 to resident-led groups. You don't have to be organized as a nonprofit. You just have to be a group of engaged citizens who identify some challenge in your neighborhood or your community and that you want to do something about. And so that application just launched. We're hoping to launch our neighborhood business grant later this month. But we also, act as a hub, if you will. So in addition to giving grants out, we have a very vast network of like-minded community leaders who can help those who are applying for grants to support their projects. We have had, I would like to call it, a workshop with an organization called Nonprofit Finance Fund for our small businesses who, really need to know the ins and outs of, finance for their businesses. And just, again, anyone who has knowledge of something, we're about capacity building, because what we need really, Dr. Bob, is in our own hands. It's in our own communities. It's just simply about, sharing what we know and leveraging for the collective benefit.
The information, resources, and all of those wonderful things that you deal with at Citizens NYC. When did Citizens NYC first start? Because I hear something about it like every now and then, but I know you guys have been out there for a while. Yes.
Yes.
No?
Yes. And so, we were founded by Oz Elliott, who, back in 1975, as I mentioned, when
Yes.
the federal government essentially told New York City to drop dead.
Yeah. But was
Um,
it always called Citizens NYC?
so there has been a little shift, if you will,
Yeah.
but our mission has remained the same from day
Same.
one. From day one. So we've just sort of spruced it up. It's Citizens Committee for New York City, but we've shortened it to Citizens NYC
Yeah.
because it is a bit of a mouthful, but true to who we were and are from our founding is who we continue to be to this moment.
How do you get your support? You support so many wonderful organizations in our community. How do you get your support, and how can we help with that?
Well, that's another great question. And so, ordinary citizens who like what it is that we do, they contribute to us. We receive funding from our elected officials. And as of this moment, we are having a variety, very many information sessions that are co-hosted with our local elected officials so we can let them know what we're doing and they can in turn let their constituents know. So some have been gracious and have funded and contributed to us. Corporations who really are into trying to improve quality of life and want to do corporate citizenship, good work. They finance and help contribute not only of their funds but also of their time. So they host workshops for our grantee partners around information that they might need to help with their grant application or just with some sort of a project. We have partnered with the New York City Department of Sanitation, with school teachers who are teaching a green curricula, if you will. New York City Department of Transportation with regard to open streets. So if a grantee wants to do something where it's open streets, and that's been very important, especially with the pandemic and having people need to have green space and open space. So just a variety of New York City constituency coming across to really, do what it is that our founder envisioned with the mission, being all in for New York City.
All in. I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. Doc, how long have you been doing this type of work?
So I'm relatively new in my position at Citizens Committee. I joined full time in July of this year, but community engagement is not new to me.
Yeah.
In prior life, and I still am. I am a professor, and I'm, as a published author, one of the things that my scholarship looks at is the importance of rhetoric, number one, and how rhetoric influences or should influence the what people do, right? Because what happens to the group is a proxy for what happens to the individual. And if we don't highlight and politicize what the challenges are, no one's going to, think that we have any issues or offer any support. And so I'm about, collective voices, collective action, spotlighting what the challenges are, and then using it as a way to pull the levers of, finance, government, private sector, public sector to address what the challenges are.
And the name of the book again is?
It's Optimism at All Costs, Black Attitudes, Activism, and Advancement in Obama's America.
All right. And you can get that on Amazon and.
Yes, it's on Amazon. Mm-hmm.
All right. Where can we go get more information on what your organization is doing, Citizens NYC?
So, hop on over to citizensnyc.org. Again, the company's website, citizensnyc.org. And there you'll find the link for the All in Neighborhood grant application. You can apply now. You can also, on our events page, find any number of info sessions that are happening. And the info sessions are a good place to start, because there you can ask questions, you can hear an overview of what it is that the application is about, who we fund, the kinds of projects that we fund. So yeah, a wealth of information.
So there you go. A wealth of information. The money is right there.
It's where the money resides.
That's right. And information is wealth.
Yeah.
Wealth of information. Dr. Lessie Branch, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much for having us and allowing Citizens NYC to be a resource to the community in the Bronx, and allowing us to share what it is that we are offering.
There you go. Dr. Lessie Branch, the Director of Programs, Community Relations at Citizens Committee for New York City. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take a break right here. We've got more open on the way coming up next.